Welcome to Kletus Ray's Roadside Service. Here we are. We're on our way to Dubuque. I think that's how you say it, Dubuque, Iowa. Running a small vac truck, 3,000 gallon vac truck, and I'm only going to be pulling probably 300 gallons. Probably. They're launching a tool. It measures flow rate, I believe, and tests the pipe. I don't know. They're doing a thing, and I need to be there. So I'm headed up there. It's a 6-hour drive. I've been on the road for, I think, an hour now. But, yeah, we're having a good day. Good weather. And, let's see where I left you guys off. I think it was Friday. Friday, all I did, I ran a big tanker, 5,000 gallon tanker, pumping diesel fuel out of a frac tank. And it was just 2 loads, but we had to. I did 1 load, and then the second load, a bunch of other guys showed up, and there's a bunch of, I don't know, old, used up absorbent pads and everything, just like, I don't know, probably 40 trash bags, and a few barrels also, just full. So we got a dumpster, threw all that shit in the dumpster, and then we had to power wash and clean out the frac tank and the containment that it was sitting in and the parking lot it was sitting on. And yeah, everything went really good, actually. Everything went well. Um, yeah, that was Friday. Didn't get a lot of hours last week, but got enough, I guess. And I I did, put in. I didn't put in, but I told my boss. He's like, "Hey, do you want to work Saturday?" I was like, "If you can't find anybody else, I'll do it." And he said, "So you can do it?" I'm like, "I'd rather not." He's like, "But you can and you will?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, well then you'll do it." I'm like, "Motherfucker, you didn't. I wanted you to. I'm the first one you asked every single time. I'm like, ask somebody else next time. Jesus, I want we. So that's. I mean, it was just trash, but it really throws your whole day off when you got to wake up. And I didn't wake up like early or anything. I guess I kind of did. I woke up more on my normal time, but I drug my feet, and the kids got up, and I was able to hug and kiss them in the morning and everything. And I did hang out with them the night before, but and I just kind of drug my feet, But I only had 3 hours worth of work to do, so it was just hauling trash. Go over there, haul the trash. Everything went well with that. Other than that, fucking landfill, man. I like that landfill. It used to be my favorite landfill. I don't know if people have favorite landfills, but I know I do. And that one used to be it. But they're doing, fuck, I don't know. They yelled at me one time because they had their sign, their dump zone sign. So first they moved the pit. The one pit got filled. It's now a mountain. And you used to have to drive up the fucking hill and dump up there. And they said, all right, we're high enough now. And they're working on coring out or whatever the fuck they're doing. They're just digging down in this one other area, and they started going over there. And yeah, I don't know. Everything was fine, but they had a dump zone sign. It's a big yellow fucking sign that says dump zone. And normally it's right next to the dump zone. Normally I try to pull up right next to that sign because it's everything's trash and dirt. Everything there is trash and dirt. And if there's not a lot of people there, you can be a little confused on where you're supposed to be because they change the shit up day by day. Sometimes during the day, sometimes it'll be the same for months. So they changed it up. We're hitting a rough spot on the highway here and I ain't got no suspension on this truck, and just bushing rear end. So if my voice gets a little fucking shaky, don't worry about it. I'm okay. No epilepsy or whatever the fuck would cause that happening here. I'm just driving rough. Fucking don't know how to patch these fucking highways up, I'll tell you. Anyways, I dumped it right next to the sign, and I didn't think it looked like it was in the right spot, but who am I to judge? And I dumped there, and the guy comes up, he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "The fucking sign." He's like, I just had to move the sign out of the way. The dump zone's over there. I'm like, over there where there's no fucking sign? How? There's nobody over there dumping? There's nothing going on. How hard is it to move your fucking dump zone sign? I mean, I didn't go into all that. I said, "Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, man. Whoops-a-daisy." And that was just dirt. It was just fucking dirt. Nothing special about it. Just fucking dirt. So, and I'm dumping dirt on dirt. Like, who gives a flying fuck where this dirt is? Everything around here is dirt. I'm not dumping it right in the middle of the road. I'm dumping it right next to the fucking dump zone sign, you dumb motherfucker. Move your fucking sign. And then he still didn't move his sign. But anyways, no, it was just, there's a little bit of confusion because I saw some people going, the one day I went the wrong way because they had some, it wasn't a sign, but it's like a big wind guard. It's like a 12-foot high, big piece of fencing that they can move around. And that's for a wind guard. You know, whenever they put them around the dump zone, normally to catch trash in the wind, you know, so it doesn't blow out. More important up on top of the hill than down in the valley or whatever. But one day I turned there and it was the wrong. There was no reason to go over there. I was like, oh shit, and I had to do a U-turn. I was in a semi-truck. I had to do a U-turn and go all the way down to the bottom. Fine. And then the next time I went, well, this Saturday I went, and I went down to the bottom, and yeah, they change their shit all the fucking time. So I went down to the bottom, had to do another fucking U-turn, go all the way back up, around, and then dump over there. But everything went fine. It was just like, you know, I don't know. I guess I'm just kind of expressing, like, these motherfuckers need better signage, okay? And they need to fucking, you know, make it more clear. Because especially on Saturday, there's not that many trash trucks and people going in there. There's like pickup trucks and stuff, but they're usually dumping up front because they have dumpsters up front. They don't want them going back there getting flat tires and getting stuck in the mud. They want people that know how to use the landfill to go back there and, you know, just fucking Jim Bob, you know, on Saturday just cleaning out his basement or whatever, you know, got an old dresser and fucking couch and shit. Dump that in the fucking dumpster. Don't get in our way. And I appreciate that. I'm like, yeah, I don't want these normies getting in our fucking way because most of the time people know what the fuck is going on. But whenever they change the whole landscape of the landfill all the fucking time, don't tell nobody where it goes. Anyways. Did that, and it really threw my day off because I wanted to get my car ready to sell, basically. And I had time, but, you know, by the time I got home, we were going to drop the kids up. No, we were picking the kids up. We had to get the kids picked up. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know. I'm all mixed up. Daylight savings time also in the middle of it all. It was just... How many miles to my turn? Oh, I got a while. Well, I'm wondering if I can go a different way. No, I'll just go the normal way. Anyways, yeah, I'm on I-35 headed north, headed up at Dubuque, something. Dubuque sounds more normal, I think. Yeah, I don't know. So I got off work and then I had to get home, get changed or something, go get the kids or go drop off the kids. I'm not sure what the fuck it was, but it just threw my whole day off. And we didn't get really like anything done on Saturday. And then Sunday came around. Yeah, that was whatever, however it worked out. Sunday woke up and hanging out with the kids. We ain't got shit going on. Or no, we picked up the kids on Sunday morning from my mom's house. Didn't spend a lot of time over there, just like a half hour or whatever. And got back home. And I was like, I ain't sitting inside all day. It's going to be nice out. I got shit I got to do. So I got my car. I got it cleaned out. Vacuumed it out. Wiped everything down with just a dry towel because everything's covered in dust. My work is a gravel lot, and I usually, that car never gets cleaned, like it should. It cleaned up really well though, but I just wiped everything down with a towel, and then wiped everything down with. I found some old. I was gonna throw them away, but decided to use them. They're just disinfectant wipes or whatever. They're fucking barely wet. Use those to wipe everything down a little bit more. Get all the nasty shit out of the cup holders and like the little change holder and everything. Get it. Where the nasty shit's been, and then just cleaned it up pretty good. And then I went and I started digging through because I used to have a 2006 GMC Sierra Z71, fucking nice truck, and I kept it nice. It had leather, so I bought all this leather conditioner. I bought all this wax and dash, like, instead of Armor All, because everybody talks about Armor All, how it's shitty and it will crack your dash or whatever. I don't know. So I bought some of this. I think it was McGuire's or something. But some better shit. It smelled so fucking good. And as soon as I sprayed it, I was wiping the dash down. I was like, damn, this shit smells so fucking good. And it just brought back a lot of memories from that white GMC I had. I had it for a little while. I had it for probably 3 years. So I didn't have it for a long time, but the time that I did have it, it was pretty much, it was my most customized vehicle I've ever had. Let's just say that, because I bought it completely stock. And then, let's see. So I bought it. It had one of the wheel hub sensors up front was fucked up, so the ABS would kick on all the time. I bought it from a dealer, but a little shitty dealer, like only had like 4 cars on his lot, but I liked that one, so worked out a deal with him. And yeah, so it had a speed sensor going bad, and it had a cracked windshield. But we worked out, the price to compensate for some of that. And so as soon as I bought the truck, I took it straight to the window shop, got the windshield replaced, sat there and waited for it to get replaced and everything. Drove it straight from there, same day I bought the truck. Straight from there to the tent. Just got a call from my wife in the middle of the conversation. That's okay. All right, tent shop. Took it, windshield, tent shop. I think I had 20% on everything, but it already had a little bit of tint, stock tint on the back windows. So and they didn't rip it off. I don't know. They just put it on top of it. It was all in good shape. It was tan interior, which is ugly, but it was nice. There was only one small, tear, crack in the driver's seat, but it had the full center console. And then it had the stock radio, and I kept it stock. But everything was fine. And it was I knew that I was buying this truck or something. I don't know. It was like the next day I ordered a leveling kit, and it showed up next day. I don't know if I got it off of Amazon or what the fuck I did, but it came the next day. And, well, that night that I got the truck, windows tinted, new windshield, talked to a buddy right after I got home after the tent, called a buddy. I knew he had some 20-inch wheels for sale. And so worked out a deal with him, went over there and got the wheels, put the wheels on, I think there at his house, and threw the stockies in the bed of the truck. Took it straight to the car wash like that night, washed it. I got pictures of it at the car wash, still stock stance, but with these big 20s with street tires on it. The next morning, that's when the leveling kit showed up. Threw the leveling kit in the bed of my truck, drove straight to my buddy's dad's house, or, well, I don't know. There was a time in between that, but the wheels were rubbing real bad. Drove straight to my buddy's dad's house, worked on it there all night, and put the leveling kit on it correctly, new shocks, blocks in the rear, and it still had street tires. The next morning, I dropped it off at the tire shop and bought some Nittos. They were 33s, 33 by 12. Well, they weren't. That's not what they were. They were the what fucking weird division fucking bullshit. But that's what they really equated to. It was like 33 and a half by 12 wide, 12 and a half, something like that. Got those put on. When I got the wheels, I didn't put the wheels on because I had to go to a custom truck shop and get some lug nuts. And for some reason, lug nuts aren't cheap, especially if you got to get special lug nuts. This guy just gave me a full set of lug nuts, and they were all lockers, so I had a key and everything, which I found the key in my toolbox recently, cleaning up some stuff, which is kind of funny-ish. But anyways, so whoever got the truck, they're like, fuck, where's the key to this thing? I swear I had it in there, but I found a key, and I don't know what else I had a key on that I would have this tool with me. But anyways, so within 2 days of owning the truck and doing all this work to it, it was already not lifted, but it was raised, just leveled out on new tires, balanced alignment, everything was done to it. Fresh tint, still couldn't roll down the windows, fresh windshield. And it was like the third or fourth day I was driving it, and behind a truck, and a fucking rock flew up and cracked it right. It landed right where the mirror glues to the windshield. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I got a rock chip. I've never had a new windshield put in my life. I've always just ran around with cracked shit. And then as soon as I get a brand new windshield, like, it doesn't even have the wiper marks in it or anything, like, everything's just so perfect about it. I Rain-X'd the fuck out of it, as soon as I got it, and, put all that rain shield shit on there. And I ended up calling Safelite, come out and fucking seal it up, and they sealed it up. Luckily, it was hidden, so you didn't, and even from the front, after Safelite did their deal, it was all right. No dirt really got in there. And I parked it. I also worked on a gravel lot then at the lumber yard. That was a west yard, that's what they called it. And I parked it in the shop, away from all the dust, because it was very dusty and dirty over there. That was over at the airfield in South Olathe or whatever the fuckville. Anyways, so got all that done to the truck, and then within the next few weeks, I was playing around with, like, editing shit on my phone. Like, I took tons of pictures of the truck. Surprisingly, I only have one picture of it stock. which is weird. I have one picture of it stock, and I didn't even like the picture cuts off like the front end of the truck. So, and then the next picture would be probably in the car wash. But I took a ton of pictures of it, whenever it had the brand new tires on it. And the 2006 GMC, it's got like a plastic painted lower molding on the front bumper, and it's got fog lights. And then it's got the chrome actual metal bumper, and then the chrome grill and the headlights and everything up to the hood. And I took the grill off and painted the grill with Plasti Dip black. And and also whenever I don't know if I did it or not, I got the GMC wrapped white instead of red. It was wrapped white with the chrome outline or whatever. I painted the grill black, and I painted that chrome bumper piece white to match the bumper. And it looked fucking amazing. Oh, and I did have to do a little bit of trimming, but of that front bumper plastic piece, but it wasn't a big deal. And then some hammering of the pinch weld and the wheel well and everything, and the fender a little bit, just so it wouldn't rub. And this truck I was like, oh my gosh, this truck looks so fucking good. I immediately got on Amazon. I ordered up the Chevy taillights because I do not like the GMC taillights. It's like red, white, and yellow, and it's just smooth. The whole thing's smooth. But the Chevy taillights are all red, and they have like the bump out for the lights and everything. Looks way better in my opinion, and I think everybody's opinion. I don't know. I don't know anybody that would like those GMC taillights. Anyways, they're direct swap in. And then I was searching for a tailgate. My tailgate had a little dent in it, like somebody had a trailer come loose and it fucking bumped into the tailgate. But it was very light and not really noticeable. But I wanted to get a Chevy tailgate, or at least that Chevy bumper, not bumper, but the top of the tailgate, the Chevy, it's got like bolts and it looks really fucking cool, and it would kind of fit the theme. So from the back of the truck, it looked just like a Chevy completely. And I debadged the whole thing. I took all the trim off, and it was just smooth. The whole fucking thing was smooth. I eventually got new headlights, 2 different sets of headlights. I got one that was black set, and then I didn't like them, so I ended up getting like a newer clear set that had a little bit of orange in it, and they looked really fucking good with the lower turn signals and everything also. Never did anything with the fog lights. I did. I went through the entire truck and removed every single bulb and replaced everything with Philips LEDs. The interior, so it has OnStar and Xfinity audio or XM radio or whatever the fuck it was. Anyways, there's a button on the steering wheel, because they had all the buttons on the steering wheel too, that you could click and it would just do the XM. And it would just play like a preview or whatever. So I found out how to tap into that underneath the glove box, and I just cut the wires to that, and then wired, whatever that, was, into an aux port, drilled a hole in the dash right above the cigarette lighter, or right near it or whatever, and then it was just a tiny little aux port, and that was back when every phone had an aux port. And I was fucking hot shit in that fucking truck. Holy shit, dude. I had Bluetooth. Well, it wasn't Bluetooth. It was just aux port. But, I had aux cord. Bought new floor mats for it. Everybody uses them, but just regular old Chevy floor mats. The yellow ones and everything. I got a special tub for all my cleaning supplies that fit perfectly underneath the back seat. I still have the tub, but now I use it for my Dremel shit. But and this truck was just like perfect. I did fuck around with mud flaps for a while. I like bought a bunch of mud flaps. Well, not a bunch. I bought 4 oversized mud flaps, but they're like the hard plastic. And I trimmed them up and made them look exactly where I wanted them to be. And I put them on all 4 fenders, you know, with the body clips for the inner fender. And I think a couple of screws. And I mean, the front ones, they got ripped off pretty quickly, you know, just hitting bumps, taking corners and shit. But the rear ones, they lasted for a while. But I was so meticulous with this truck. I went through, I did, eventually I got the 1500 with the Chevy emblem, you know, the logo for the side of the truck. I put those back on, but I put them in a different spot. The 4x4 badges on the back of the Z71, I removed those because they were bright red and I wanted black and white. Everything is black and white with very little chrome, just a little bit of chrome. So I got new Z71 stickers that were all black and white. It looked so fucking good. And then I was running a YouTube channel at the time too. And I was doing pretty good at it. Like, I was having a lot of fun, you know, learning how to edit and everything. And this was all real life shit, and I would go through stuff. But anyways, I put all these YouTube stickers and shit. And that's whenever, you know, I did the same thing that I still do now. Like, if I create something new, I go out and I get I claim the Instagram, the Twitter, all this shit. Anyways, my buddy has a vinyl cutter. And he's able to print out all kinds of stickers, and I feel bad about it, but I'm just too meticulous on my own shit. I got excited about it. I had to print out all these fucking logos and my Kletus Ray with the K, all this shit, and I put them all on the truck, and I thought it was cool, but then, I don't know, the YouTube thing started, I quit doing that. Well, I just didn't want to do it anymore or something. I don't know what it was. So I ended up ripping all those stickers off. But it looked pretty clean for what it was. But I was like, who the fuck am I? I don't need all this shit all over here. I did take it to a truck show with the stickers on there. There's a little group going around Kansas City. It's KC Trucks. There's a couple different versions of it, I guess. I took it to one up north a little ways in like Plant City or something. Met up at a bar and a bunch of people brought their trucks. It was pretty cool. I got to meet some of the leaders of the group, like, or of the Facebook group or whatever. And yeah, I got some pictures of it that night. I did some editing on those pictures. It looked pretty fucking. It looked amazing. Not gonna lie. I always thought I was gonna get a cat eye Chevy, and I looked at a few of them, but one of them had a bunch of hail damage, but it was a Thunderer version or whatever. I don't know. It was a special trim model, but it did have the high output 5.3, whatever that means. It was like the HD 1500 or whatever. But it had horrible hail damage, and less miles than the one I ended up getting. But yeah, I just couldn't deal with the hail damage on it. And I looked at another, well, actually at the car lot that I bought my truck from, there was a almost identical Chevy truck sitting there. But I don't know, just looking at the truck, the interior was way better on the GMC, even though it was tan. The other one had black leather, but it was tore up pretty good, and I think it was missing the rear bumper. And I was like, nah, it looks like some fucking kid has had this truck for a long time. The other truck looks like somebody, took care of it. So I'm going to take the one that somebody took care of. What else happened with that truck? Oh yeah, I had to go over the paint a few different times. Just keep up with the paint because the paint, plastic dip doesn't hold up all that well. I guess sometimes it does. I didn't do enough coats or something. I don't know, but you'd hit bugs and stuff, and then you go to the car wash. Obviously you wash it yourself, but then you hit it just a little bit too hard, and then it fucking rips and everything. Now there's a guy at work that I was working with. He was like, "Oh yeah, my dad does exhaust and all this shit." And I was like researching mufflers and stuff, and I ended up, I forget which one it was. It was an off-road. It said off-road muffler. I don't know how a muffler can be off-road and on-road, but it was just a tiny little muffler. But it was like, I don't know, a couple $100 or something. And I was like, yeah, that's the muffler I want. And I wanted to do it. I wanted a dual exit exhaust in front of the rear passenger side tire. I wanted it to come out there, and I don't know. We just could never work it out. Like, I don't know if he was just stringing me along or what it was, but we could never get worked out for me to get my exhaust work done over there. So I just cut my fucking exhaust off. I still had, I cut it off after the cat, probably right underneath the bed before the axle. And I mean, this thing sounded fucking mean. And I ended up just throwing the whole exhaust, the muffler and everything. And there's a giant fucking muffler. It's the standard muffler that comes on it. I just threw that out on the curb. Somebody ended up picking it up. Kind of wish I would have held on to that because it'd have been nice to have some exhaust tubing and a muffler for my current truck. It would be nice, and it's basically the same wheelbase. A crew cab short bed 1500 is basically the same as what I've got now, which is an extended cab short bed, but it's like the standard size bed. It had like the mini bed on the 1500 GMC, but the 3/4 tons had a regular short bed. And I guess you could get the 1500 with the regular 6-foot short bed, but I had a 5-foot short bed. Yeah, it looked fucking mean. It looked fucking awesome. I love that truck. It had the push-button 4-wheel drive, which I wasn't a big fan of. But I started looking in on YouTube, and I found out there's this guy that, if you can go to the junkyard and find any, the 4-wheel drive lever and bracketry and shit. You can find all that shit pretty easily at the junkyard. But there's a guy that sold. It was on YouTube. I just watched a lot of his stuff. But he would sell the full center console and a 4-wheel drive bump out lever and all the bracketry and everything. So I was thinking about buying one of those, but I don't know. I never did. It was just kind of a pipe dream. And also doing a 6-speed swap or 5-speed swap on it, because he also sold a thing for that. You would lose your cup holders, but you could do a short throw 5-speed shifter in a full-size truck, which was, I mean, that's fucking cool. Or you didn't lose your cup holders, you lost the cubby hole. He just had a modified little cup holder deal, because the 2 cup holders were on the passenger side. There was like a cubby hole on the driver's side, and then another like little slit in the middle, and you'd cut all that out. And he sold all the boot, the leather boot, custom to whatever you want, and the short throw little 5-speed shifter, which was, that's fucking cool. That's really fucking cool. But I wasn't going that far. I mean, I probably could have gone that far when my transmission blew. But, I mean, there's other stuff before that. So anyways, I had the truck. I bought an intake for it. It was just a cheap Amazon intake. It was just a pipe they had a fitting for your sensor to go, and then an air filter is Spectre. Fucking just, I don't know. There's nothing special about it, but I put that on there thinking it would be cool to have like a cold air intake on it. Well, I guess even before that, the reason I did that. So my wife's family, they were having a wedding thing going on, and they live way out in the middle of, literally in the middle of a cornfield. Like their little property line is like 3 acres of a cornfield, and everything across the street, 5 miles that way, 6 miles that way, everything is fucking, not cornfield, but just fields in general. And they have this little house in the middle of it that they have. Anyways, it floods really bad out there. And we went out there. Everything was fine. I took it slow. Everything worked out fine, but I got a couple of drinks in me. And I wanted to drive through the water thinking my truck's lifted, it's badass, nothing bad will happen. Drove it through the fucking flood way too fast, dumb, and I fried some sensors. The truck had nothing but problems after I did that. Before that, it was great. After that, I had to replace the mass airflow sensor. I tried cleaning the old one. I had all these other sensors that were, throwing codes and shit. My intake, the stock intake, has this big fucking reservoir in it, and it was full of fucking water. And so, it drove back to the house, but then once I got to the house, I took it off and drained it out and everything. I was like, fuck, I fucked everything up, and I had to leave it parked out there. And then I ordered the new air filter, and then brought it out there, and then the truck was still having problems. Like, it would just randomly die. And then that's when I replaced the mass airflow sensor, and then it just had problems from then on. And then I'm pretty sure I got water inside the transfer case. Because, if you're pulling through, like, up next to a wall or whatever, let's just say, like, a drive-through, you can just hear the chain inside there just fucking not liking life. It's just not good. A good thing that I could have done, which I was just dumb and didn't do it, would have been to drain the transfer. Well, actually, I think I wanted to, but you can't drain the transfer case, or you can't refill it. No, you can refill it. The only way to drain it is to split the case, and I just wasn't willing to do that. So I just found another transfer case from a guy, that sold transfer cases. And I bought the transfer case, and it sat in my garage all the way up until after I sold the truck. But never put it in because I was like, I'm just going to wait for this transfer case to go out, and then I got another one I can just throw right in, it's fucked up. But it ran all the way up until I got rid of it. It still had other sensors that were going bad all the time, but after spending a couple $100 on sensors multiple times, you're just like, fuck, dude, it's fucked. I don't know. I just don't want to deal with it anymore. And I was having that was right as we were having my son, and I was like, I just need to get something reliable, and I traded that truck in, still owing money on it, on my Chevy Cruze at CarMax. And I don't know. The funny thing about that, though, is a few months after I sold it to CarMax and I was driving this Cruze around, I was working for my lumber yard, and I would have to drive from this lumber yard to another lumber yard. And on my way, I was a driver at the time. I had quit a different job, and I went back to the lumber yard, and I would have to transfer lumber from yard to yard sometimes. And every time I drove by this one spot, I saw a truck that looked identical to my fucking truck. I was like, those are the same wheels I had on my truck. That's fucking cool. And then I realized that is my truck. And I had put fender flares on it. somebody bought my truck from the auction, I'm guessing, that they put it, and then he started driving it, and I saw it like every other day. I would see it sitting at a parking lot, and I always wanted to go talk to the guy because I still had the transfer case at the time, but I just ended up not. But I don't know. There probably was really no reason for him to ever take the wheels off, because unless, he wanted to replace the brakes or something, but the brakes were good on it, and they had like those tires in the 3 years that I had it. They barely showed any wear to them at all. Like, it still had the nipples on the side. It still had deep treads on it. Like, that was really dumb. I was not smart. I should have kept those wheels and tires, because those wheels are probably worth. They were XD series, but they were nice fucking wheels. They were like wagon wheel looking type, but matte black, and they had like the bolts, the fake bolts all the way around it, fake beadlock or whatever, but they were fucking cool wheels. And I would have loved to still have those, or at least sold those separately, because I don't think I got any extra money from CarMax because it had those wheels and tires on it, So, yeah, the thing about that truck was that the front passenger side fender, it started rusting out a little bit. Like, I guess with the white paint, I looked on the forums, and people would always complain about the white paint, that these little rust spots would pop through the white paint and you could buff them out. But then my passenger side fender, it just started, it actually bubbled enough that it cracked off, and I was like, I gotta replace this fender. But then the fucking rockers were going too. The rockers were bubbling real bad, and then the bed started, rusting out. And it did have a bed liner in it, but it was the wheel wells that was going bad. I went through and I painted the wheel wells right shortly after I bought it too, because I did not like the looking at it sideways, having a white inside of your wheel well. I was like, I don't like that at all. But anyways, it was just rusting out on every fucking corner. And I was like, God damn it, this fucking sucks. So I did what anybody does, and I just bought a fucking set of fender flares. They didn't have the bolts in it or anything. They were just fucking normal fender flares, normal smoothies, stockies, just black plastic, and I just threw those on and was like, fuck it. And I didn't even install them the right way. I was really losing interest in the truck because the motor issues, the transmission issues, the electronic issues, the seat was ripping a little bit more. The radio was having a little bit of problems. Trying to think of what else. I mean, it was still a good truck, and it really wouldn't have taken much to get into it, but and then I was having a kid. I just was like, I want to get something different, and I found this car. It was a 6-speed manual, 1.8 liter fucking little Chevy Cruze. I had heard of people that had gotten into a bad car crash with one of these before, and they were like, this car saved our lives and shit like that. I don't know if these people are going to exit or not. There's a construction crew over here, but they're a mobile construction crew, so you can't tell if they're like pulling over, getting on the highway, getting off the highway. What the fuck are you guys doing? You guys are big and in the way. So yeah, I missed the truck. It had the I don't know, limited slip rear diff, so you could drift that motherfucker anywhere. It had, I mean, whenever I test drove it, completely stock. I was sitting at a red light, and when the light turned green, I just stomped on it, and it did a burnout until I let off the fucking gas. I mean, I was just shocked. I've never had anything that had enough power to do. It was a one wheel. No, it wasn't. It was a dual wheel peel fucking just stomped on it at a red light. I think it was a slight incline, so I mean I had that going for me. But regardless, I've never had anything that you can stomp on it and it'll do a fucking burnout. I never had anything like it. So other than my Thunderbird, my V6 supercharged Thunderbird, my very first car that me and my dad kind of put together, that one would have probably done that, but I never got the chance to do it. I drove it one time, and then my uncle fucked it up and sold it out from underneath us. It was his car that he gave my dad, and my dad gave to me, and then me and him put it together, and then my uncle came over and fucking broke it. He got excited that we got it all put together and fixed and running and driving, and then he fucking ran it into a curb and fucked up the rear axle, and then took it back to his house. He said, I got another axle, I'll throw in it for you. No, he sold it. Motherfucker. Fuck him. I mean, that's fucking bullshit. Anyways, this was the fastest thing I've ever fucking had. So, I was like, I'm sold. I bought it. Did all that shit to it. Obviously, putting on the bigger, meatier tires on there, you could still get a squeal out of it from a dead stop, but you weren't doing a rolling burnout unless it was a little wet out. But I had a flag mount in the bed. Just bought like a cheap flag, American flag, little plastic clips, and bent the pole slightly, and I got these little pole holders, drilled a hole through that in the pole, and I had these clips. I had one at the bottom. It was in the very center of my bed, up against the back of the cab, basically, and I just had it mounted to where I could throw the flag in there, and the flag, the way the wind went, it was just perfect. And even you could turn on your cargo light, and since the cargo light had two white lights on the outside, I would drive around at night with my cargo light on because it was like light to the flag. It looked fucking amazing. I got a couple pictures of it like that too, but I was hot shit in that fucking truck. I was really fucking cool. And yep, just life happened, and I just decided to I was like, this is in best interest for my family is to get rid of the cool truck and get like a family type of car. I thought that since other people had a family in this car that it would fit a family. It did not fit a family, okay? It's a tiny little fucking Chevy Cruze. It's not it's a small car. Like, for me to sit in there comfortably, I had the seat not all the way back, but pretty far back, because all the way back is up against the back seat. So I have it almost all the way back. You can't fit a forward-facing, especially a rear-facing car seat without it being either in the middle or on the passenger side with the front seat like leaned forward quite a bit. And yeah, made that mistake, but we just used my wife's car. She has Equinox, and that fits kids perfectly. It's good. It's a good family car, good small family car. 2 kids. No more than 2 kids in that car. But the Cruze was not that. The Cruze is not that car. So I'm going to sell it to my stepdad, which is actually meaning I'm selling it to my stepsister. And I think she's got a boyfriend now or something. So just him and her running around in this car, that'll be great. But, try to raise a family in this car. I mean, I guess they are small, so maybe she wouldn't have the seat so far back. Like, I could still make it work, but I was very uncomfortable. I could barely get my leg high enough to get on the clutch. But yeah, it's a decent little car. And after cleaning it up and making it smell good inside of it again, I'm not gonna miss the car, but I'm proud of. I'm glad the car hadn't shit the bed on me. It's been a good little car for a while. I think it's going to be a good car for a longer, as long as people can keep up on the maintenance. And they don't wreck it. I just hope they don't wreck it, you know. I hope it, you know, you can wreck it, but don't get hurt, you know. Bump into some shit. It's a fucking Chevy Cruze. That thing, for me driving that to work every day, jumping the railroad tracks, doing drifting, fucking pulling e-brakes and burnouts and all kinds of shit in that car, it's held up pretty good. It's held up pretty good with very little maintenance. It needs an oil change, and I'm gonna probably go ahead and do an oil change on it before I sell it, just because I mean it's always got fresh oil in it. I'll tell you that it's got a little bit of a leak. Somebody's gonna need to do some work on that, fixing the leak. But I think they're gonna buy it, and if they don't buy it, that's fine. I'll sell it to somebody else. But it does leak a little bit of fluids. So, anyways, yeah, the GMC is a good truck. I also had like a dog kennel that I could set up in the back in the bed and bungee it down so it'd stay there, and then lay a bunch of dog beds in there. And I had my two big dogs. They'd ride around with me in that thing. It was nice. We took it to Arkansas, and it was like pre-fucked up. Like, pre-fucked up, not pretty fucked up. It was pre-fucked up. I hadn't drove it through a flood yet. It was still like perfect truck. Drove it down to Arkansas and just flying through the hills with that thing. And then the picture, I don't know if I got any pictures of it like that, but it was our quote honeymoon is what it was. It was we had been married for a while already, but we hadn't ever done a honeymoon. And this was like our honeymoon thing. We got a cabin in the woods overlooking a bluff or whatever. I don't know. It was a beautiful place. But I was like, hey, babe, will you stand outside and film me driving through this? Like, I'm gonna drop you off right here. Just pull out your phone and I'm gonna turn around, drive up there, film me the whole time, and I'm gonna drive down. I think I was gonna try to make a YouTube video out of it or something. But she's like, fuck no. Oh my god, damn it. Because I was like, it sounds so fucking cool, you know, the sound reverberating, and that thing would backfire like fucking crazy too. You know, you let off the gas or just get on the gas just barely while rolling downhill, just like blah, 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 pop, 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 blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. It probably sounded like shit, but to me, I was like, that sounds fucking cool. I mean, a 5.3 sounds pretty fucking good with just cats. Not gonna lie. So if you got a 5.3, all you gotta run is cats. Who needs a muffler? A muffler. Just think about the word muffler. Muffle. It's just a sound thing. I mean, it could be back pressure also to help the engine or whatever, but it's the only purpose of that thing is for muffling sound. If the truck isn't too loud, why does it require a muffler? You know, like. And that truck was probably too loud. It was pretty fucking loud. I mean, I can still hear it right now when firing it up in the morning and heading to work. It just, it does the high idle in the mornings. My voice isn't going to be good enough for that. You just imagine. The other weird thing about that truck was it's something about the firewall. The firewall had some sort of an issue going on with it, because where the brake booster was mounted, like when you hit the brakes, like the firewall was weak. So the brakes were actually really a pain in the ass. So the transmission went out on that truck also. I was just driving it one day and I hit the gas and it didn't feel right. So I just cruised easy and everything was fine. And then I got to this hill and, I hit the gas and it downshifted and it just went, and I was barely moving. I was like, oh, fuck. But I made it off onto the side of the road and I had to have it towed. And I had it towed to a guy that somebody knew that would do it for me for pretty cheap. So, and this guy, so I don't know what the fuck he did to this truck. I would never take anything to him ever again. I'm pretty sure he stole some parts off of my truck. This guy down in the woods, has a nice piece of property, but he has a lot of those GMT 800s sitting around that they look like personal vehicles. And I bring my nice fucking beautiful truck. I mean, it was a little dirty at the time, but it was a nice, beautiful fucking truck. Just had the transmission go out. He went to a junkyard or whatever, got a new transmission or a used transmission that worked. He had this thing. He said, yeah, it'll be a couple of days. I said, perfect. And I showed up out there 3 fucking times. First time, he's like, I haven't even got to it. I'm like, answer your phone then. Why don't you answer your phone? Like, and I didn't, get irate with him at this point in time. This is the first time I met him, really. I got his address, or I knew of his address, and so I went down there. I couldn't get a hold of the guy, and he said it was going to be a couple of days. So I drove all the way out to wherever the fuck this guy lived. I was like, yeah, I'm here to pick up the truck. He's like, it ain't done. I'm like, oh, you said it was going to be a couple of days. He's like, well, has it been a couple of days? I'm like, well, you should have gotten it from the tow truck that night. It's been 3 days, and I called you and texted you, and I haven't got a word back from you yet. He's like, it ain't done yet. And it wasn't even in the shop. So then I waited another couple of 3 days, texted, called him, still nothing, went down there. This time I'm a little upset. I'm like, hey, man, I'm here to pick up the truck. And he's like, it's not done yet. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, we got to get it going. He's like, it'll be done soon. Give me 3 days and I'll have it done. 3 days later, I don't even call him. I just show up out there. And he's nowhere to be seen. The truck is nowhere to be seen. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm calling him, texting him, nothing. I'm like, we're sitting here until somebody shows up at this fucking house. Because he's got my truck. He's had it for almost 10 days now. And he told me it was going to be a couple of days. 10 days is not a couple of days. This guy comes walking up the road. And he's like, hey. I'm like, hey. He's like, the truck isn't done yet. I'm like, where is the truck? He's like, down the hill over there. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Why is it down the hill over there? He's like, it's about a mile back. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, I was testing your transmission, and I forgot to hook up a line, and it ran out of transmission fluid, and now it's down the hill. I'm like, what the fuck? He's like, no problem, man. I'm going to get it towed back up here, and I'll have it fixed and ready to go tomorrow. Showed up out there the next fucking day and get in it. The power steering is so fucking tight. Like, it's not making any noise, but it's so fucking hard to turn this truck. I'm like, what the? He's like, yeah, I undid the power steering lines, and so it'll be fine in a couple of days. The shifter, and this would make more sense, is because he had to undo the shift linkage because it's a transmission. Like, it was so hard to pull the shifter down and to drive. I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, that'll loosen up over time. And then it's got lights all over the fucking dash. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? The airbag light is on? Why is the airbag light on? He's like, that'll go away in a couple of days. Everything was a couple of days to this guy. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I paid him. I did not leave him a tip. I was going to leave him a tip if he did a good job. But this fucking guy took for fucking ever compared to what he told me, what we agreed to. And then, I did drop it off at, without any notice. It wasn't like a scheduled thing. It was like, hey, I have a tow truck. My truck is on a tow truck. Who can do a transmission? This guy. I was thinking about going to like whatever transmission shop is near my mom's house. But I was like, oh, this guy's going to be cheaper or whatever. So I went to him. Yeah, you get what you fucking pay for fucking sure. Never fucking do that again. And yeah, I had the airbag light. I never got it to go off. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So, I don't know. Maybe I'm just so mad about the situation, but I'm pretty sure he took some sensors or something, or did something, took some shit off of my truck to put on his trucks and put some old shit on my truck. He's like, yeah, we're going to put on this shift linkage is better than my shift linkage. I'll just swap it out. And then now my fucking tight as shit. I don't know if he got it pinched somewhere or if it's twisted or what the fuck, but I mean, it would work, but it was like, you could never really tell where to stop because you know, usually you can pull it down and it'll click and you know where to go. But with it now, you had to watch the fucking needle and stop it wherever it went. You know, it was just, I was like, what the fuck? Transmission it lasted. Surprisingly, didn't have any issues with the transmission other than the shift linkage, the power steering, the fucking airbag light, and that it took a lot longer than expected. I'm trying to think of whose car I was driving during that time. I think I borrowed somebody's car, but anyways, that doesn't really matter. And I think that, the transmission went out after I drove through a flood. So, I mean, you never know. Water could have gotten the transmission too if it got in the transfer case. And that could have been the reason it went out. You know, I'm not saying I'm the greatest fucking guy in the world. I'm just saying, you know, you pay somebody to do a job, you expect the job to be done, and, you know, the truck is not up to par, up to what I wanted it to be. And, yeah, that added on top of the rust and the electrical issues and all that other shit, I was just like, fuck this. I'm done with this truck. So, yeah, I traded it in. It was a really nice truck, and I got it. You know, I was just happy to see it driving around again after I sold it. Then I got the car, and then I got truck fever. And that's when I got the 92, the one I got right now, still. And I sold it to my brother, and I bought it back. Now, I have a problem with that. You know, if I sell something, it's got to go far away. If I sell something, I'll end up with it back. And not the cruise. Fuck the cruise. I ain't doing that with the cruise. If somebody buys it, I ain't worried about that at all. But trucks do, I don't know. I'm one of those guys that feels like, you know, old trucks mainly. That 2006 GMC, yeah, it's gone. But if I saw that truck again today, I wouldn't want it. I would look for a better one. But old trucks, square bodies, even older, you know, the C10s. I mean, yeah, definitely even older than that. But you know, the early 70s, late 60s, the 60s basically, the 60s Chevy trucks. I love those too. But I've always had a soft spot for round eye square bodies, and then the 90s Chevy trucks, because those are really old now too. It seems like my new truck. It's a newer truck. It's got digital shit and everything. It's got a computer in it, but my square body, they have souls. I feel like these old trucks, they have a soul. They want to be saved. They don't want to go to the scrapyard. They don't want to be taken apart. You know, and I just see a lot of value in those, and I don't know, man. It's just like, I wish I could, you know, take some sort of I don't know, let's just say, some sort of a medication that would put me in a fucking dream state where I could just live out my fucking dream of owning a field full of old Chevys. I don't know. That seems like a really far off dream, but you know, it could be a reality. Is if I just, you know, if I really put my head to it, I could probably do it. But you know, I would specialize in Chevy trucks and really just old trucks in general. Like I do like old Fords. I think old Fords are pretty cool, and old Dodges. I'm not really a big fan of the Dodge first gens, but or even second. I'm just not a big Dodge. I used to be a Dodge fan when I was a kid because I thought they were the most stylish trucks out there. Whenever they came out with like the fenders that were lower than the hood and everything, they had that old school type of feel. That's what I was into. For one of my Pinewood Derby. I my dad kind of made a Dodge pickup truck with the hood and the fenders. I think I still have that somewhere, but no, I mean if I wish I could run like a pick and pull type of situation where I could just buy all these old trucks, 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, lifted, lowered, what doesn't matter, any state, for the right price, obviously. But I see all these trucks go into the junkyard. Every time I open up my Facebook, I try not to, I don't let it get to me off of Facebook because that's all bait and shit on there. But um, honestly, whenever I'm driving by a scrapyard and I see an '88 Silverado, even if it's a 2-wheel drive long bed work truck just sitting there, I'm like, that's maybe that truck doesn't have much life left in it, but the life that could give other trucks, with fenders, doors, seats, cup holders, this fucking dash cup holders, like all that could really make somebody happy if I find somebody like-minded like me that's like, I don't want new shit. I want the old shit. And that's where I'm at. That's why I got to get rid of this Chevy Cruze. It's not me. That's not who I want to be. Just think about, I've almost died in a few car crashes. If I die in a Chevy Cruze, brother, not cool. Not cool at all. That's the lame way to die, is to die in a fucking Chevy Cruze. Think about people that die in driving a Kia. If you're a car person, which I feel like I definitely am, a car like vehicle, old school type of shit, and I die in a Chevy Cruze, who the fuck am I? Die like a man in a Chevy truck, okay? That's, or just, I don't know. That's where I'm at. They're cheap. They're everywhere. Parts are abundant. Forums are full of it. There's tons and tons of people that still love these trucks dearly, and they're out there. And that's where it makes, I don't know, people that are buying like newer trucks these days, they're like, oh yeah, it's 60 grand. I'm like, what the fuck? $60,000 would buy half of my land and 100 fucking trucks. Okay, maybe not 100 trucks, but that's crazy to me that people would spend that much money on one single truck that's gonna have problems. You're gonna need to update the software. And then everything's expensive. Everything's expensive. These old Chevy trucks, parts are cheap, okay? Relatively. Now, my dream build, not going to do it. I'm going to keep my truck the way it is. Basically, other than a little bit of a leveling kit, a little bit tire. That's about it. And then if anything else breaks on it, I'm going to replace it. And I'm going to try to clean up the body a little bit. But other than that, I'm going to keep that truck basically stock. But my dream build, like when I get on BeamNG, I've got a mod for that game for GMT 400, which is that body style. I have a mod for a GMT 400 truck that whoever made this mod loves these fucking trucks just as much as me, because he went through meticulous detail, photographing, sizing, imaging, every part you can imagine for one of these trucks, just about. He does leave some stuff out, but being a mod creator with this in-depth of a mod, it's called the DFA pack by iRetrox. I don't fucking know. IRETROX or whatever. He's the mod creator. You can only get it on Patreon, and I paid for it. I got an outdated version, but it's still there. It still works. And so whenever I got one on there that I built up, it's And in real life, I probably wouldn't do this, but it's got an LS 454, whatever, or not 454, but whatever. It's got an LS engine, a big block LS, 427, whatever. I don't know. It's got a big block LS, solid axle swap, coilovers up front, because there's not really any good options. I would want to do leaf spring front suspension. I don't know why. I just think it's old school and cool. But because all these 90s trucks, they all came with independent front suspension, which makes them feel more like a car in all the ads that they talk about. But I like solid axle. So that I got my 79 sitting at home. It's solid axle. But anyways, it's my truck, extended cab, short bed, lifted, like a 6-inch lift with a solid axle swap, 35s, tinted windows, a cowl induction hood, an LS engine that's fucking modded to the gills. It's got the shorty exhaust, like I wanted on my 2006. That comes out the passenger side. Headache rack toolbox, bucket seats, newer upgraded bucket seats, but it's still got the pre-94 dash in it, because those GMT 400s, they have like the 95 and up dash and the 94 and below dash, and I like the 94 and below dash. The 95 and up dash, it's too round. It's too round. My very first truck was a 96, and it had that round dash. I did like it, and I always thought the older dashes were ugly, but now that I own one, I'm like, I prefer this. I prefer the old style dash. I think I like it a lot better. I wish there was a better cup holder situation, but I got the center console now, so I got cup holders. There's no problem there. Just shifting into your fucking big gulp is an issue, but so anyways, the 79, I'm gonna kind of get that fixed up and outfitted. It's gonna be, looking back, my 2006 was highly modified, but it's not going to be anything like my 79. My 79, I'm going full custom, not full custom, but I'm going to do some crazy shit to that truck. I'm going to make it, like, I don't care about the body. I don't care about the rust. I'm going to do whatever I can do to make it what I want it to be in my head. But the 92 that I got, I'm going more of, not a modern build on it, because I still want it to look old school on the outside, but on the inside, the interior of it, I'm going to do some LEDs, and I'm going to try to clean it up and make it look really nice on the inside. The outside, I'm going to try to just put lipstick on it, fucking just spray paint it, dents, scratches, who gives a fuck, just paint over everything. I'll sand it down first, but I try to get the outside to look okay, and then I do have a 95 and up grill for the front, which the 95 and up grill is more, I like it, I do, but now that I have this older one, I really do like this older one too. But the older one, I hit a fucking deer. The deer, like, I was driving down the road, and I was going to try to drive around, I don't know why. I thought I was going to drive around it, and I was going slow. I was going like 10, 15 miles an hour, and I was just going to drive around it, and right at the last second, it fucking jumped right in front of my fucking truck and fucked up my grill. And now my grill, I just have some, like, metal strap, self-tapped, holding it kind of together. So I'll probably replace the grill. But other than that, it's just cool. It's got power windows, power locks, 5-speed manual, 4-wheel drive on the floor. Extended cab, short bed. I'm not going to solid axle swap this. I'm not going to take the V6 out. I'm going to keep it with the V6. I'm just going to put a muffler on it. I think I'm going to go ahead and put a muffler on it. And just a stock one. Nothing crazy. Straight up stock muffler, come out the passenger side behind the rear tire like normal. If it did have a V8, I'd put the dual out underneath the rear bumper, with chrome tips. That's what I had on my 96, and I did like that. But as I've come into my older age, like, I don't know, I don't really care about exhaust too much anymore. I think if your exhaust goes all the way to the back of your truck, it's not. I mean, it's okay, but in my video games, most of the time I just have it chopped off underneath the cab. Just like fucking. I don't know. Just sounds cooler. Doesn't sound. It's too quiet. I like the feedback. But this V6, it actually sounds. I mean, on the inside of the truck and to my ears, it sounds beefy. It sounds manly. I don't know exactly how it sounds on the outside, but on the inside, it sounds pretty good. But if you get into the high RPMs, you definitely hear the V6, and I'm not a fan of that. I don't want to be running around trying to be cool in a V6 with chopped off exhaust. And I haven't done shit to the exhaust. That's how I bought the truck. It's rusted off. The muffler, right behind where the muffler would go, it rusted off, and the whole muffler and everything is gone. So I want to just put new muffler on there and make it quiet again. I don't give a shit if this one's loud. It's a V6. Let it be quiet. But put a little level lift on it. A little bit bigger tires. It'll handle it, and just take me to work and back. My daily. And I did look up on Amazon tint, because I don't want to take it to a tint shop. I don't want to spend $200-$300 or whatever the fuck it'd be to get the windows tinted, even though it would be really good and easy and quick and done and not a problem. I think I'm just gonna buy a roll of tint for $35 off Amazon and just try it out. Start with the back window. It's a big flat piece of and watch some YouTube videos and get some technique in there. I think that I'll buy like a little tinting kit. It might come with some special spray or a fucking little plastic squeegee thing or whatever. Maybe even like a window cleaner and towels and stuff. That's about it. I want to prep the surface as good as I can. And I think if I do the tint all right, as long as it doesn't turn purple, I'll be very upset if it turns fucking purple. But I'm just doing 35%. I'm going to do 35% on all the side windows. No brow, nothing on the front window, just open. Put some LEDs in there. I want to get a new driver's seat that's got an armrest. I want to get the center console actually mounted. I want to get some new floor mats, because the floor mats I got, I keep trying to move them around, and I don't know. Either the gas pedal's catching or my fucking clutch pedal's catching. There's nowhere really in between. It's like every time I fucking push those pedals in, something's getting caught, and I don't like it. So I'll do something there. I'm looking for an electronic repair store. Now, my buddy Luke, he might be able to do it. I don't know if he's good with like little tiny soldering things. I'm gonna ask him. I haven't even talked to him really about it. But I got a CDM, which is like the radio that goes under the dash, and it's fried. It still like powers on, and I could get a little bit of feedback out of it, but it really needs to be gone through and a couple of capacitors replaced or whatever, and then it'll be good to go. And then I'll get my stock radio back, figure out the FM transmitter situation, and wire that up, direct wire it up, tuck it under the dash, so I always have Wi-Fi, or not Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. And then I can get the dash, get the cubby hole figured out, and get the vents done. Might go through and replace all the actuators for the vent doors and get those all taken care of. I want to get the AC swapped over to the new system. Instead of R12, it's R22 or whatever. Well, I guess there's a whole lot of shit you got to do for that, but I'm telling you, I refilled it and it leaked out, but it blew cold air. So I have faith in the system I got. It just leaked somewhere. So I need to figure out where it's leaking from, replace some O-rings, fill it back up with R22, even though I'm pretty sure it's going to need R12 to run properly. But I'm telling you, for like 3 days, I recharged it and it lasted for 3 days. It had great, perfect, cold, ice cold air coming out of it. And if I have AC, power windows, power locks in my daily driver, I'm going to go fucking insane. Also, I need to redo some door seals because I have some wind noise coming through. I think you could get like a little foam thing and shove inside the middle of the door seal, and it'll like extend the door seal so it'll actually seal up. Because it's getting annoying listening to fucking wind noise. And I want to carpet clean, which that's the other thing I need to do with the cruise is I'm going to get my carpet cleaner out. I got a little wand that I can use and carpet clean the full interior of the cruise because those seats stain so easy just from water, just water like from my cooler or something, or like accidentally leave the window down when it rains a little bit. The seats in that thing just show everything. So I want to get that at least carpet cleaned. There might still be some stains there, but that's okay. Just carpet clean it, make it smell good inside that car, and then so my stepsister doesn't think I'm a nasty motherfucker that sold her a piece of shit. Like I want her to buy this car for $2,000 and be shocked that I only asked $2,000. That's what I'm going for. And if they take it to that mechanic dude, because that's what my stepdad, he wants to take it to a mechanic dude that's going to look it over and then fix any problems that it might have with it. He said, if I have to spend another $2,000 on it, $4,000 for a decent car isn't bad. She's going to have to learn how to drive a 5-speed though. That's the problem here. I mean, you can teach her, she'll learn. It's not that hard. She'll figure it out, and I think that's going to be kind of cool that she's going to be, a young girl that knows how to drive a 5-speed. She's going to be able to show up a lot of fucking dudes, maybe even her boyfriend, who's like 5-speed. What the fuck? It's 6-speed actually. And then I want to bring that carpet cleaner over to my truck and carpet clean the fuck out of it, get it all real nice, cleaned up, and depending on my situation with my center console, if I raise it up and move it back or whatever I got to do so it's a steady armrest, I won't replace the seat, but I need to have an armrest over there. There's my arm's just hanging down, like the top of the center console is like level with the bottom of the seats. So I'm just gonna rig up some wood or something, just put some wood, screw it to the floor and fucking screw that to the wood, and then it'll be lifted up. And then, I don't know, probably try to stiffen it up in some way, shape, or form, because it's just plastic. The center console is just old, brittle plastic, so I need to get that, make sure that's going to be okay. And then, I'd like to do door panels, if not just door handles, because the door handles are really bad. They're ripped out. Right now I have a hole drilled through a quarter for a washer with a fucking self-tapper that goes down to whatever the fuck it goes to hold the door together. I'm just happy I got the window. I do want to get the door locks fixed on it. That would be a thing to do. And it should be pretty simple. The thing just fell off. All I got to do is take the door apart again and do it. I just don't feel like doing that. But I think next time I take the door apart, I'm going to be sanding it down and prepping it for paint, I'm going to take everything off of it, and the window out of it, and all the trim off of it, and everything, mirror off, take everything off of it, and spray the entire door, because I don't want any red being shown. It's a black truck. Should be pretty easy to hide all the red if I disassemble the entire door and then put it all back together the way it's supposed to be. So, and then the hood, and then I gotta replace the passenger side front fender also. I've got one, I just need to put it on, and then get the radio. You know, there's a lot of projects to do, and the LEDs that I want to do, yeah, I want to do all LEDs. I might even wire up some new shit, just so, like, the interior lighting is nice in that truck. When you open the door, everything lights up. There's no problem seeing shit. Got a weigh station coming up here. And then the gauges. Apparently these gauges are really easy to work on. And I'm going to replace all the... It's still going to be green, because everything is green plastic is what the LEDs shine through to the display. So everything's going to be green, which is fine. I don't give a shit. Green, whatever. I'd rather have white, but green is fine. You know, really brings you back to the 90s, and replace all those with LEDs so it's really bright. But I wonder what I got to do with the dimmer switch, or if I have to do anything, you know, because I want it to work normal. I see a truck just got in the left lane. This is not a pre-pass. And he's going around the weigh station. But it says open. There's no pre-pass here. It's open. What the fuck is going on? Alright, we're going to pull in the weigh station here. Oh, somebody got yanked in there. I roll the windows down. Sorry guys, I'm going to do a lot of not talking while I'm going through here real quick. Alright, got the green light. We're out of here. They had to look at me for a little while. It's kind of weird. I was like, they turn on the red button, the red light to stop on the scale, and then they had me sit there for a little while. I don't know if they just needed their scale to kind of settle or something. Yeah, I mean, you'll hear about me talk about these trucks all the fucking time. I am a truck guy. I feel like I made a mistake selling that truck. Obviously I feel that way. I bought it back. But I feel like I'm on a good pathway to where I want to be. I don't want this new car. I want to have 2 trucks. I'd love to have even more trucks. I would love to just have a bunch of fucking trucks. Which is not reasonable. So, anyways, I think I'm to the situation where my wife is okay with it. She's not upset at anything. Probably because I haven't been working on the 79 at all. Luckily, I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of money spent on that in the future, but that's future stuff, and it's not like I need to work on it because it's not my main concern. But things are working out. I think they're working out. If I can get rid of this car and I can get $2,000 in my pocket, I can give her half of it. Well, maybe not half, maybe more than half of it. I don't really, I mean, yeah, money is nice. I just want to be able to buy the things that I want, and I am cheap when I buy shit. I'm really fucking cheap when I buy shit. I like to buy a lot of cheap shit, okay? And it's cheap shit, okay? Sometimes there's issues. Sometimes you don't get what you pay for, whatever. But, yeah, when after I get this car sold, I plan on doing a full fluid change on my 92. I want to flush out the radiator. I want to change the engine oil. I want to drain the front diff, drain the rear diff, drain the transfer case, drain the transmission, which is it's a manual, so that's different. You got a little bit of different stuff. At least you don't have a torque converter you got to worry about and all that shit. There's not even a dipstick for the transmission on a 5-speed. Oh, some 5-speeds. This 5-speed for sure. There's no dipstick for anything. Usually on an automatic, you gotta put it in drive with the engine running and set the brake or whatever, set the emergency brake, and then check it. After it's at operating temperature. All that shit, I don't know. But with a manual transmission, it's just like your engine basically. You just gotta have some oil in there. Specific oil for it. But yeah, I want to do that. I want to get everything changed up. It's got a magnet on the oil filter and a magnet on the rear diff. So I want to get those. I want to see, because I put those magnets on there. And yeah, the oil has not been changed since I did it when I first bought the truck 6 years ago. But you check the oil and it's fucking clean. It's really fucking clean. And the truck barely ever got drove. Also, you gotta realize that. Like I mainly drove my car, and every now and again I would drive the truck. And then I sold it to my brother, and he drove it 7 times. I don't know. Like the truck barely ever got drove. So I don't feel bad about it. And I check the oil often, and it's clean. It's really clean. It's still got viscosity and everything. It's still good. So, I'm not, I don't know. I'm glad this thing doesn't have a fucking change oil light on it, like my newer cars, I feel like a lot of old school guys that, and I'm not an old school guy, and I don't know a lot of shit, but I feel like a lot of old guys that know a lot of shit, if it's got oil in it, you're good. Okay? It's got oil in it. What's wrong? As long as it doesn't have gas in it, and it's full, and it's not, completely black, nasty black oil, it's probably going to be okay. But anyways, I'm gonna start changing the oil more often in that truck, especially now that I'm gonna be relying on it for my main vehicle. And now that I have a job that has a lift, and I should be able to get the time, I'm going to pull the transmission again. I did it once before. That's when I bought the truck. I bought it with a blown out clutch. I'm going to pull the transmission. I'm probably not going to replace the clutch because I don't think it doesn't have that many miles on it. So, but I want to replace the throwout bearing. That's something that I could not do by myself because I tried to do it just by pulling the transmission back. And I did. And I didn't torque anything down either, which also sounds pretty fucking scary. You got your clutch, and I didn't do anything with the flywheel, but I wanna replace the throwout bearing, clutch fork, slave cylinder. Um, just did the master cylinder, but redo the slave cylinder, and I want to get all that fluid out of the clutch line also, like drain out the entire clutch line, because found out that you're not supposed to use manual clutch fluid. You're supposed to use power steering fluid or some shit, or brake DOT3 brake fluid is actually what you're supposed to use for your clutch, hydraulic clutch. At least on this application, you know, check your own shit. Don't be using me as a reason your shit broke or whatever. I don't know. That's what I put in it since I got it, was manual transmission clutch fluid or whatever, or not transmission, manual clutch fluid, which is probably okay. That's probably all it is DOT brake fluid, but how am I supposed to know? So I want to drain it all out and put all fresh stuff in there, make sure it's all clean, because I think I can do a little bit of adjusting with that clutch and make it to where it'll grab a little bit, just tune it a little bit, because right now you got to push that clutch all the way to the fucking floor, and it still will grind if you go straight to reverse. So you got to go to fifth to stop the movement of everything, and then pull it down into reverse. And it's kind of it's not annoying because it's habit now, but every time I go to reverse, I always go to fifth, then reverse. It's just a habit. But I think I can get it tuned to where I'll get a better clutch feel out of it and everything. The brakes seem fine, but I have heard a lot that you can use the new style booster. Now, I'm probably not going to do that, but if I ever wanted to, it's an option. You can use the new style booster if I ever have issues, I need to replace it. Use a GMT 800 booster and reservoir and everything should line up and work out. It's what I've been told from forums. Maybe, I don't know. And yeah, I've been driving that truck in the dark lately. And yeah, I need better headlights. I need some brighter. I don't want to go LED. I don't want to have to deal with all that shit. I just want brighter fucking headlights. So just get new bulbs. Oh yeah, I gotta paint the tailgate too. I replaced the old tailgate. The old tailgate was really rusted out. The story of the 92 is it was a one family owned truck, and it was mainly this kid's dad, and they would just back the boat in the water at the boat ramp all the time. So that's why the back half of this thing is all rusted real bad up to the cap corners. So the old tailgate was bad. The bed, surprisingly, the bed floor, other than scratches on the raised pieces, that's really close, you fucking fuckhead. Why did you cut me off like, I mean, I didn't have to hit my brakes, and I'm not going to hit my brakes, but why the fuck did you leave half a car length in front of me before you need to get over? Like, this is a brand new, like, GMC Sierra pickup truck. AT4, whatever the fuck that means. Fuck. A lot of these new trucks, they do look good. A lot of them do look good. And I've ridden in one. So, several. And they're nice. I do like them. I'll never own one. It's just not me. It's not me. There for a while, I thought if I ever got a new truck, it was going to be like the new Colorado or the new Canyon or whatever. Nope. At this point in time, you know, my mind changes a lot. But at this point in time, I see myself driving this 92 And if I ever decide to not drive the 92 anymore, I'm still going to keep it. I'm never going to sell it because I did that once, and I'm not going to make the mistake again. I need some accountability buddies to fucking punch me in the face every day if I sell that truck, because I want it's a good truck. It's a good one. But if I ever got a different daily, it would probably be, and you can get them cheap. Wow, maybe not a long bed, but like a short bed, or even a Blazer. An old Chevy 1500 Blazer, or even an older like S10 Blazer. I want the square body. It's not a square body, but it's like the square S10 Blazer, 4-door. I think that's what I would want for my family hauler, and that's what I was kind of looking for after I sold. I was wanting to sell my Cruise, and that's what I was wanting to get, because I didn't think getting the 92 back was really going to be, because I had sold it, so I didn't expect to get it back. But whenever the conversations started coming around, I want it back. I made a mistake. Why did I sell the factory 5-speed 4-wheel drive extended cab Chevy truck? Why did I do that? But I don't know, still driving around in it, I just feel so small. So that's why I want to get these tires and this leveling kit on there so bad. And it's not going to look anything crazy. It's just going to be barely lifted up and bigger tires, so, like 2 inches in the front plus an inch for the tire, because the tires right now are like 29s, or they're like 30s. So putting 33s, it'll lift me up 1.5 inches, and then the leveling kit's going to be a couple of inches. I'm not going to crank it crazy. I just want to level it out. And honestly, I might not even put the rear blocks in there. I might just crank it up to where the front matches the rear. And because I got to get new U-bolts for the rear if I add in, because you're not supposed to reuse U-bolts, is what I've been told, and you can get them cheap and at a very long length. I had to cut mine, but I don't know. I might just leave the rear where it's at, because I think it's going to look better if I don't lift the rear and I just match the front. But I will use the leveling kit, because even though you can go more, I think I'm just going to raise it up just to level it out, and no blocks in the rear. But you never know. My mind may change. Maybe I'll crank it up all the way and then put it on the lift with the new tires, and then raise the lift up until the rear would match the front, and then set it down all the way and see if it's how squat it is. And like, do I want the front to be that high? Do I want to have to climb this high up into the truck every single day? Because, even though it's not that much of a lift, that's something you got to climb up into, and I'm not putting steps on my truck. I do not like steps. I don't like shit on the side of the truck. I don't want anything there. Like, side pipes, a lot of people like side pipes. I mean, not on the truck, but on just like any car. Like, side pipes, yeah, they're kind of cool, but I'm not that kind of guy. I don't want side pipes. I don't want that fucking shit tucked up underneath there. I barely even want to see the exhaust. I don't know. Anyways, been talking a long time. Now I'm going to think more on what I want to do. It's not really much. I think I've covered about, if I could get everything to the way I want it to be, I think it's going to stay that way. The 79, we didn't even really talk too much about that, but I've talked at length about that in many other podcasts. The 79, square body, regular cab, long bed. I said I'm going to go all out on that, but all out would definitely mean a center console and bucket seats, and that is on the table. But I really want to just keep the bench seat. So go all out, except for the bench seat. Just that there goes another reason you're going to need an armrest in that fucking truck. And new bucket seats and a center console would really solve a lot of issues I would have with that truck. So it's on the table. I don't know. I'm just lying to myself right now, saying I'm going to keep the bench seat just because I like the simplicity of that. But with all the modifications I'm doing to the interior of this truck, I could really make it look pretty nice with a center console, probably a custom thing, and some nice newer sheets out of something that got dual armrests or something. I don't know. And then, yeah, outfitting that thing. I want to deck that thing out with some toolboxes and shit. The bed's kind of trash, so maybe, you never know, maybe I'll cut a hole in the side of the bed, because the fuel tank is going to go in the bed of the truck, and then another toolbox, and room for all kinds of shit. I could cut a hole in the side of the bed and make it a hinged door with a latch and shit, and just have fucking tools there. I could go all out with that truck because I don't care about that body. The bed is no good. The cab is no good. The fenders are rusted out. Like, everything's rusted out on that truck. So if I ever do decide to replace some shit, I'm going to replace it with nicer shit. And this old shit is going to really be no use to anybody. There's Bondo that's 7 coats of paint, rusted out, dented, beat up. I might as well do what the fuck, like, experiment. Try some new shit out. If I gotta re-weld up a patch that I cut out that I decided not to do, who gives a fuck? It's an old beat up Chevy truck. I'm gonna fuck do what I want to it. Now, if it was original and nice, I would never, a nice clean bed. Unless I knew what the fuck I was doing and I was doing it for the right reason. I'm a kid in the candy store right now. I'll chop whatever the fuck I want off of this truck. Who gives a shit? As long as I make it good, don't get careless with it, still do good shit. But yeah, if I could have like a little latch on the side and I just open up the side of my bed and I got a fucking toolbox in there, be pretty cool. Be pretty cool. I like it, where the body line is, it's cut right there and it opens up, and then just tucked in between the inner and outer bed sides is like one of those slim toolboxes. Well, like my Stanley's kit that I got, and it's just right there, and that'd be pretty cool. That's an idea to run on right there. And then have like holes drilled in the side on the top of the bed side that you can like run some like ram bars or whatever through there. Get a handyman jack and mount it to the inside of the bedside. Jumper cables, and toolboxes, and extension cords, and generator. I got a generator, guys. I have a fucking generator now. Get that thing mounted up in the bed of the truck. I got an extra air compressor also. Get that mounted up in the bed of the truck. I got a fuel tank it holds 50 gallons. And just pipe in a fucking gas nozzle to it. And if anybody runs out of gas, I can just roll up to them and I got fucking gas right there. And then another rack made for like just assorted oils and fluids and shit, So, and then I don't know. Practice changing a tire without a tire machine, on smaller cars, not like a pickup truck or whatever. I probably wouldn't try to. Maybe, but like if I'm trying to make this an actual service truck. like it's, I mean, it sounds like silly or whatever, but you know, to me it sounds kind of silly. But seriously, like this is a truck, like, you know, I could take it out on the trail. It's got great four-wheel drive. It's got a locking front diff. It's really simple as long as I can figure out the fucking carburetor. You never know. End up getting that. I've seen a lot of ads for the Aces EFI. You know, you never know. Maybe put that on there. But take it out on the trail, and you got tools, fluids, air, tire changing equipment, generator. Get a little welder, put it in there too, you know, get it mounted. And I've got this big bed slider that I need to snag it from work before it gets too late. But I've got a giant bed slider. It's a big thing, you know, it's like out of one of our trucks, and I was told that I can take it home. And they're probably wondering when the fuck I'm going to take it, because it's just an eyesore right now, and nobody wants it, which is insane. This is like $1,000 fucking bed slider. It's the whole bed floor. I mean, it's like 6 inches thick, so it takes up a lot of room height-wise, but I need to get that bed slider and cut out figure out if I can do it, but cut out the insert for where the fuel tank goes, and then I got this big bed slider that, you know, I can mount all of this equipment to, and I can just slide it out. This thing is supposed to be able to hold like 4 grown men when it's fully extended out and everything. And it would just be so cool if I had toolboxes, welder, air compressor, drills, all this shit just mounted on that. And the more I talk about it, the more I'm thinking I need to get some sort of a topper for this thing or something, because people will be able to just walk up and snag whatever the fuck they want unless I really, you know, do something. So I might end up getting a topper for it, or at least a bed cover. Maybe like an expanded metal bed cover that's like braced and supported, and then I can have like all the shit is in the bed that slides out, and then I have like rails and everything on the top with my headache rack and everything, and I have like another bed floor up top above it. That would be kind of cool. And I mean, there's not really, I'm not an off-roader either. I do like to go off-roading, and that's probably the sport I'd look at the most, like rock crawling and shit, but I've never done any of that other than on my own or in the fucking RC world, which isn't anything. But I think this would be fucking cool. And it's just a dream of mine, and it could take as long as it's going to take. Because this truck isn't anything important to day-to-day life. So I'm just going to try to build it out eventually and make it really fucking a stout-ass truck. And then I got my daily driver. That's just a good little 92, you know. I did load up all the tires that I want to swap out, and I decided I want to swap out onto my stock wheels. I want to keep the stock wheels. I don't want to use these Steelies. I'll just save the Steelies for spares for the 79 and the 92, but I do have a spare already for the 92 that I'm going to need to mount up, but I'm probably just going to tuck it back up under the bed where it's supposed to go. And, you know, I might, you know, the original system, it's got like this rod that you're supposed to stick through the hole in the bed, or in the rear bumper, and then crank it down, and I don't know. I'm probably going to just try to figure out some other system. Maybe get like some padding, glue some padding to the bed floor, and then just push the tire up as far as I can, and then put a flat bar with a chain or like a padlock on it, and then, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud here. Those crank systems, I guess mine might work. If I lube it up and rotate it a few times, it might work. But a lot of times those things will seize up, and then you need to get your spare tire out, and you got to cut that fucking cable to get it out, and then it's done after that. Really, most of the time they never go back up. Man, the ideas are flowing. I need to relax. I know I've said a lot of shit. A lot of it's probably not going to happen, but I need to slow it down and just focus on getting this car ready to sell, and then doing just normal oil changes on everything on the 92. Get the tires swapped over and get the leveling kit put together. If there's time after that, I'll work on light bulbs and tint. And, obviously get the carpet cleaned and all that shit. But anyways, figure out the floor mat situation. Because, I don't know. It's annoying when you push the clutch in and it doesn't hold the clutch, but you can definitely feel it like... You're like, my clutch could either go further or it's catching on something and you don't like it. And then the gas pedal, I actually don't know if it's the floor mat. It was the floor mat at one point in time, but I was able to move it in a way that it's not catching anymore. But there's also this little plastic piece molded into the carpet right there that's starting to come loose, and it catches the lip of my boot sole, whenever I'm hitting the gas. And it does hold me, because I like to rest my boot up against the trans tunnel there. I like to drive comfortably, but it catches the sole of my boot, and I gotta actually lift up on my toes hard to fucking pop it out of there, or twist my foot, and it's a minor inconvenience, but it's annoying when you're in traffic and you're just trying to. Usually it seems like your foot goes right there, and sometimes it's a little too fast, and you want to just back off just a hair, and you're like, by the fuck, my foot's stuck. I just don't like it. I can figure that out. Keep all 18 down. Adios. Sorry for talking your ear off, but if you stuck with me the whole time, I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. We'll talk to you again real soon. Damn, 2 hours. Holy shit.